Hi, everyone. This is James Patrick from the Forum Celebrity Podcast. I'm Florence, Carmela, and I want to do a quick thing in the Alec Baldwin interview that went last night. First thing, again, we like to say a little disclaimer. Politically, we don't care. We have no side in this. We are not in love with Alec Baldwin. We don't hate Alec Baldwin. We just want to tell you what we felt and what he said, and you need to decide for yourself. Facts are greater than biased opinion in our words, and that's how we live. So the first thing that really took me by surprise is when George Stephanopoulos said, "Do you feel any guilt?" He said no. He didn't even need to finish the sentence. And he said, nope, I didn't do anything wrong. And what bothered me a lot about that is even if the tragedy happens or you're a part of it or you survive a tragedy, you have some sort of guilt, remorse, something. And he just seemed cold as ice. I would have said, yes, of course I feel. Any human would feel guilty. The person died. Anyone would feel guilty. That's how I would have put it. Instead, he just said, nah, not guilty. I didn't do nothing wrong. Another thing that really bothered me is that he stated that when the incident happened, he ran over to Helena and stood over her for about 60 seconds. He then said, I never even knew she was shot till about 45 minutes to an hour later. Serge Svetnoy, her friend, said that when she was shot, she fell against him. And it was obvious. He saw blood everywhere. He obviously knew something seriously had happened, that she had been shot. She stated, I'm paralyzed, and I don't know if that's something Baldwin heard. But for him to say, I didn't even know she was shot, I thought she had a heart attack or she fainted, it blew me away because I worked in ER for a long time in respiratory care. And when you're hit in the upper torso, there is so many organs that have a lot of blood supply, the heart, the liver, the lungs, that you bleed, and you bleed a lot. So for him to act like he didn't know what was going on, that blew me away. That was a red flag. His crocodile tears were also, he cried 4 or 5 times and I didn't see one tear. Celebs, if you're going to do these interviews, you got to cry, got to really cry. So I just felt that it was disingenuous. It really turned me off. Another thing that he said that really bothered me is he said the first time he ever heard that that there were problems on set was when Lane Looper, the assistant photographer, he quit. He told Lane, are you going to be here tomorrow? He said, yes. Alec Baldwin said, well, what I was going to do the next day is buy Airbnb with them from the salary that I got. Take some of that and buy an Airbnb that was really close. That's bull, because why wouldn't he have done it right then and there? The guy was disgruntled. The guy was upset. I would have said, you know what? You call me tomorrow. We'll set up an Airbnb. We'll figure this out. Don't leave. That's what I would have done. A normal person would have done if you're really going to do it. If you remember also, the producers made T-shirts making fun of these guys for wanting different accommodations. They didn't want 4-star hotels. They didn't want massages. They didn't want to drive 2 hours to and from the set every day after an exhausting day. I totally agreed with them. I think that they shouldn't have had to do that. So for Alec Baldwin to say, I was going to do that was, to me, kind of ridiculous. Another thing that really I thought of was Peter Falk, who did Columbo years ago. He did an interview and he stated, our murderers usually are very, very smart. And the problem with super smart people is when they lose control of a situation, they start talking too much. They start trying to do things to control the situation again. And to me, that's what I felt with Baldwin. I felt Alec Baldwin thought he was the smartest person in the room, and he felt like it was getting out of control, and that's why he did this interview. If you remember, he said, I can't wait till February. I can't wait till March. I can't wait till they finish their investigation. I need to talk now. I need to talk now. It wasn't that I want the truth out. I need to tell you about things that were said that were misspoken, that aren't true. And I wanted to bring out the facts. He wanted to bring out the facts to cover himself. I think he did great damage to himself with this. He should have never have done this. He had to have legal advice because some of the questions he actually answered before the questions were even done. If you notice, when George Stephanopoulos would ask him a question, he'd almost end it and then he would just answer it. He knew what he was doing. Baldwin's not a dumb guy. He knew what he was doing. He had practiced these questions, and he did everything he could to deflect the blame, which most thought he would do. He kept saying, they need to stop looking at me. They need to stop looking at anyone else. The person that did this put the live ammo on set. The person that is criminally liable put the live ammo on the set. That's what he kept saying. Then he kind of was manipulative with David Halls and Hannah Reid. He goes, I feel so bad what's happening to them. I feel so bad. Dave's a friend, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, I think the police should go to the ends of the earth to find out who put that live ammo on set. So in the end, he's throwing them under the bus because everyone knows Halls probably didn't have anything to do with it. But I think Reid definitely at least did something. She was irresponsible in not knowing what was on set. So in the end, he did throw her under the bus. So he's feeling sorry for her. He's trying to make it like he's a good guy. And then he's saying they better go to the ends of the earth to get that person, when it's probably her that had a part in it. If you notice also at the start of the interview, a lot of times he looked down. He wasn't looking in the eyes of Stephanopoulos. And I thought that was really telling too. George Stephanopoulos is an interviewer. I mean, the last question to me was for dramatic purposes, and I hated it. He said, what would you like people to know about Helena? Alec Baldwin didn't even know who Helena Hutchins was until he came on set. He didn't even know who she was. And now Stephanopoulos wants him to eulogize her like they're best friends and there's something that should be said about her. I mean, give me a break. That was a ridiculous question. I think in the end, especially when he said, I didn't even know she was shot till 45 minutes later when the police showed me the bullet from Joel Scar's shoulder. I would have just, to me, that was just so ridiculous. And obviously he said, I didn't pull the trigger. I just pulled the hammer back, and I didn't pull the hammer back all the way. When asked also, what's the responsibility of the actor? He said, he kind of looked around and he said, the responsibility of the actor is to trust the armorer. Well, if the armorer's not even there, how the heck can you trust her? Oh my God. And Dave Hall should have never have touched any of this stuff. And he also said, when George Stephanopoulos said, well, David Hall should have never have touched that stuff. And then Alec Baldwin said, no, 99% of the time. But when the armorer's not there, the armorer should always be there. I don't get it. I think some things he said, this whole thing, he seemed to me manipulative, arrogant, and I think he should have never done this. To me, it was a smart person who tried to get control of the situation that he felt he was losing control of. I think this was a train wreck for Alec Baldwin, and even people that blindly support him, because let's face it, politically, there's people that blindly hate him. I just saw a video online on YouTube of a guy lying for about an hour and a half, just making up stuff, and he got 300,000 views. Because why? Because some people hate Alec Baldwin, so they're going to believe whatever their bias tells them. That's not what we're about. We're about telling the facts and telling what's going on. And in my mind, I said it from the start, he should have never done this. This was stupid. This is going to hurt him. The more you talk to the press and the more you talk to the public, the more you're going to screw yourself, because now people could pick apart what you say. Horrible decision by Alec Baldwin. We'll keep you abreast of this. If there's some other things that are coming out that I don't want to talk about yet because they're not confirmed, but there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming out in the next week. So stick with us. Thanks for all your support. Take care. Have a great day and a great weekend.